Hi guys, welcome to our podcast Sarvambocchu. After discussing on three diverse topics in our first three episodes, we decided to do something different today. Today there is no discussion, it's just me. I'm Raghava. It's just me talking about a topic that I always wanted to talk about. And also your common complaint about the runtime can no longer be used now. For this particular episode, I mean. And yes, today the topic is about cricket, a topic that every Indian truly feels the way we feel about ourselves and named our podcast exactly for that reason. Sarvambocchu. It means I know about everything, everything under the sun we know. And let me get to the topic before you guys stop listening because that's usually been the case with our podcast. Today the topic is about spirit of cricket. Ours is predominantly a Telugu language podcast, but I decided to do this particular episode in English since I felt it needs to be understood by a wide section of cricket fans. The discussion about spirit of cricket isn't something new. It always comes up from time to time. Recently, it came up in the wake of Deepthi Sharma running out English batter Charlie Dean at the non-striker end, the mode of dismissal famously known as Mankat. Mankat, by the way, is name of a great Indian cricketer Vinu Mankat, who first used this mode of dismissal to dismiss the non-striker. This mode of dismissal, Mankat, has always been frowned upon by most of the cricket experts, fans, and observers. Despite the constant stigma attached to it, the ICC and MCC that makes the loss of the game have actually made it legal, and rightly so. They even went ahead and said it should from now be called run out and not man cut. In a fairer world, this should be the end of the discussion, right? But no, the custodians of spirit of cricket have not stopped from taking a moral high ground. They still say it is against the spirit of the game. So, what exactly is spirit of the game? Well, in all fairness, we don't know. Neither do they know because it doesn't exist. There is no proper definition. It is an abstract concept popularized by those who do not want to play within the laws of the game. I mean, catch any English or Aussie cricketer who pride themselves about this vague concept and ask them what exactly does this mean. You would be surprised to see that they cannot answer too, because even they do not know what is it. These cricketers who have given such grief and mental trauma to players who perfectly used what is in the laws to dismiss a player, they are no saints or custodians of the spirit of cricket either. I mean, the likes of Sam Billings, James Anderson, and Stuart Broad have plenty to say about Ashwin and Deepthi, but nothing to say about the charges of racism that has come to light in the English cricket. Well, I didn't know racism was an integral part of cricket and it is well within the spirit of the game. I mean, the so called spirit of the game. The likes of Owen Morgan and Josh Butler have in the past ridiculed the English speaking skills of subcontinent players. It is nothing but racism too. Where has the spirit of cricket argument gone now, gentlemen? The Aussies who were involved in sandpaper scandal now lecture what is in the laws is not spirit of the game. Wow. Okay, let us ignore these hypocrites for a while and let me put forward a nuanced argument about Mankad in particular. Is Mankad unfair? No, it is not. Because when a bowler gets penalized for overstepping, batsmen should be too. And a bowler gets penalized every time he oversteps. It's not the case with the batters. He's penalized not when he's standing outside the crease, but only if the bowler decides to run him out for standing outside the crease. So the patriarchy, the dominance of bat over ball, the patriarchy in cricket applies here too. And one more thing, batter stealing an extra yard is not unfair. It is not cheating too. He or she is well within his or her right to do so. I will tell you why. Every sport is about taking those little advantages to give yourself a better chance. So non-striker can take those extra yards, but 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 do not complain or think you are a victim of foul play when bowler decides to run you out. It is simple. Take all the advantage you want, but be ready to face the consequences that come with it. It's similar to advancing down the track and hitting, right? It is an advantage you have to use the crease as much as you want as a batsman. But if you miss the ball or mistime one in the air, that's a risk or a consequence that comes with it. You got to accept it. And indeed, all the batsmen in the world are accepting it. It's simple. Extend the same logic and thinking to mankind as well. As simple as that. Okay, although spirit of cricket term is very vague and ambiguous, Let's make an attempt at understanding what it actually means with very limited material we have. The term spirit of cricket was coined by ex-England captains and MCC members Ted Dexter and Colin Cowdrey in the 90s, in the late 1990s. When the 2000 Code of Laws was introduced, it included a preamble on the spirit of cricket. So what I will do now is I shall read the preamble of Spirit of Cricket and apply this test to the so-called custodians of Spirit of Cricket. I mean, I will apply the provisions enshrined in the preamble and test the so-called custodians of Spirit of Cricket and see how they fare. So let's go one by one. The first point says respect is central to the spirit of cricket. Well, the spirit of cricket merchants, you are not respecting an opponent for doing what the law actually mandates, so you fail this test. Second point, respect your captain, teammates, opponents, and the authority of the umpires. By crying foul about what is in the law, you're not respecting the opponents, you're not respecting the laws of the game, you're not respecting the authority of the umpires. So you failed in the second test too. Third point says play hard and play fair. Playing hard is all about competing. When a non-striker is stealing yards, the bowler has to not just look at the fields and the kind of ball he has to bowl, but also needs to be aware of the non-striker leaving the crease. So when the bowler sees the non-striker going out and chooses to run him or her out, this is what playing hard and competing means. This also means he or she is aware of the game situation, but you are not respecting it. So you are not playing hard. And it also says play fair. You are not respecting the laws, so you are not playing fair too. So you have failed in the third test too. The fourth point says accept the umpire's decision. I need not mention it at all. Umpire actually declared it out, but you are crying foul about it. You failed in this test too. The fifth point says show self discipline even when things go against you. I mean, I can understand that mankading is against the way you were taught to play the game, but choosing to stigmatize it and being directly responsible for the mental trauma given to the bowler for doing it. So you're not showing self discipline because things didn't quite work out according to your privileged opinions. So you failed in this test of self discipline too. The sixth point says thank the officials, your opposition at the end of the match, whatever the result. But what is happening in the reality? At the end of the match, you are whining on Twitter about the dismissal. You're disrespecting the umpires who went by the laws. You're disrespecting and giving mental trauma to the players for doing legal things. So you completely failed in this test too. So you basically got 0 out of 6. In cricketing terms, 6 balls, 0 runs. To put it more bluntly, 6 balls, 0 for the loss of 6 wickets. That's how badly the spirit of cricket merchants performed in the spirit of cricket test. One thing I want to say before I tell my concluding remarks. From the year cricket was invented to the infamous Kerry Packer series in the late 1970s, England had the muscle power in cricket, financial as well as the power to shape opinions. From there to early 2000s, Australia had that power. From early 2000s to the current times, cricket business has moved to India thanks to the advent of IPL and cricket crazy nation that India is. India is not just the heartbeat of world cricket, but it is also the financial powerhouse. Although it is flexing its muscle a bit to alter the future two programs and stuff, it has still not achieved the position of shaping public opinions about cricket. I mean, I want to cite one historical example. Let's go back in history and look at one famous example involving W.G. Grace, who the English regard as the father of cricket. He was a huge star back in those days of amateur cricket. During one match, when he was batting, Grace was bowled and the stumps had fallen onto the ground. You know what Grace did after that? He calmly turned back, gently picked up the stumps from the ground, and placed it where it should be, and asked the bowler to go back to his mark and bowl. Then the umpire said, "No, man, you're out." Grace responded, "You fool, the crowd has come to watch me bat and not to see you umpire." That's actually a true incident, and he is regarded as father of cricket by English cricket historians. Well, it's a story of the past and not that appropriate for me to apply the current day moral standards to that incident. That's true, I agree, but it tells a thing or two about the hypocrisy of these guys who regard him as the father of the cricket and now continue to hold incredible sway in shaping public opinions about cricket. I am far from being jingoistic in matters such as this, but it's high time that England and Australia should be unseated from their long held position of shaping public opinions because they can believe certain things. They can play the way they want to play, but don't tell the rest of the cricketing world that's how it should be played. In a world of Josh Butlers and Andersons, be a Deepti Sharma. In life in general, too, we all have certain freedoms. Some are natural, some are constitutional, some are natural rights that are given constitutional backing. Most of such freedoms come with restrictions. As long as the restrictions are reasonable, we got to accept it because we are living in a society and we have to abide by the social contract. As a popular saying goes, the right to swing my fist ends where the other person's nose begins. So you will have freedoms, but there is a line that is mandated by law and not some abstract concepts like spirit of cricket. So message is simple. Don't cross that line because a Ravichandran Ashwin or a Deepti Sharma will get you.